All right, welcome back. 50 Cent is back in the headlines, this time over claims that never made it into his Netflix documentary on Diddy. According to 50, the project generated far more material than could fit into just 4 episodes, forcing his team to cut several major points. One of those involved an alleged personal connection that was ultimately left out due to time constraints. Rather than saving it for another season, 50 has hinted that the unused footage may surface on YouTube. Since the documentary aired, he says even more people have come forward with new information, questioning why he continues to push the story. Comedian Kirkland recently addressed that question, dismissing the idea that this is about clout or drama and suggesting there's a deeper, personal reason driving 51 that adds serious weight to why this story keeps escalating.
He chose 50 Cent's baby mother.
It's a lot of variables to this particular question. Because I talk to a lot of people, older, younger, even my daughter, who's 22, she didn't understand it. So people give their opinion based on what they've experienced and their environment, people they've been around. So to the people that understand boundaries and respect, I always tell men you should never date another man's girl if you're not aware of it.
TK Kirkland explained that crossing certain personal boundaries represents a deep lack of respect. He said that in his entire life he has never knowingly been involved with someone who had previously been connected to a close friend, calling it an unwritten rule you simply don't break. He emphasized that Diddy is not someone with limited options, pointing to his fame, wealth, and global access, which makes the situation even more questionable in his eyes. Given the long-standing tension between Diddy and 50 Cent, TK believes this was not an accident or coincidence, but a deliberate move, adding another layer of meaning to an already complicated history.
He went after the baby mother of one of his rivals.
Exactly.
Someone who had been taking shots at him for years.
Absolutely.
On purpose.
And he went after her knowing that they had beef.
Right. And slutted her out.
Just
slutted her out. Having a whole basketball team run a train on her.
Totally
and
did. I
just
totally
the whole
agree.
thing, right?
Totally agree.
Right.
But his reputation from when he worked at Uptown, I'll be sure's girlfriend.
Oh, Kim Porter. Right.
That's his reputation.
I'll be sure his baby mother.
Baby mama.
Yeah.
Then Eric Serum, his friend, the one that had she had his baby, Mia. So he's had a reputation of going after people.
Tupac's ex-girlfriend. He got a baby with her too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my point that I'm making to the men listening, well, if you don't understand this, then you just poorly educated and don't really have common sense. It's a no-no. There's no way I would go after Vlad's ex-girlfriend.
Right.
I'm so loyal that if I met a woman and she said, "Oh yeah, I used to date Vlad," I can't with you, baby.
Right.
I won't even put my, excuse my language, because that's how I move. Other people don't move like that, but you see me in Paris, you see me all over the world. Why would I want to do that to mess up a
While 50 Cent's documentary has received massive attention and widespread praise, not everyone sees it as a clear win. Gene Deal has come forward with sharp criticism, claiming certain portions lacked originality. He alleges that some ideas presented in the documentary closely resemble concepts he had previously shared, raising questions about proper credit and creative ownership. According to Gene, these moments didn't stem from fresh research, but echoed earlier narratives, shifting part of the conversation away from the documentary's impact and toward how it was assembled.
He said that he had a lot of footage had to be down. The documentary had to be downsized. You understand? I don't really believe that, because a documentary is a documentary, and they could have had 45 minutes. They could have had an hour, to each one of those. You understand? They left out certain things. He said they even left out the one about Sarah Chapman. You understand? And for whatever reason, he probably left out a lot of other different stars too. Situations that they could have spoke about. You understand? I have a problem with the documentary, and I'm just gonna let you know that the reason I have a problem with the documentary is that they know that they took my ideal. You understand? They know that when I came to them, I laid out what they should do and how the documentary should be. You understand? She could say whatever she want to say. I talked to those producers before I even talked to her. They wanted to know what I had, what I was bringing, my pictures, all that stuff like that. And I told them about me, Tim, and Kirk. You understand what I'm saying? And how it would go. They did the same thing. This ain't the first time they stole from me, man. You know, if you look at the Notorious Big, if you watch the Notorious Big, that part about the shoes, I had that in my book. And I was talking to K.O. Kirkland. He was one of the writers of that movie. And I told him about when I let Big use my shoes at Soul Train Award. You had this old flunky ass dude, Mike B, get on Angie Martinez's show and talk about, yo, Big, he wore mixed max shoes and he went out there and performed. When you go look at the film, when you go look at Big performing that on that show, ain't nothing mixed match about them shoes. There was $800 Maury's, size 14D. Big World 14E. E means that his shoes is a little wider than mine. He struggled, but he put them on and he went out there and performed. Those was my Gators that he had on. You understand? They did a little skit trying to disrespect me in the movie. You understand? And they said something about, oh.
Gene also addressed growing speculation that 50 may release additional footage online. He suggested that if more content does emerge, it may be impossible for anyone to stop it. In his view, if there were a real way to shut the documentary down, it would have already happened. To him, the fact that it remains publicly available speaks volumes, raising questions about how much influence Diddy still holds and whether that power has already begun to fade.
Documentary. And if 50 do another one, and I heard he's gonna put it on YouTube or do whatever he's gonna do, Puff ain't gonna have nothing to do with that. Puff ain't gonna have nothing to do to try to stop that because he can't. Because if he could stop it, it would have been stopped. You know why he can't stop it? Because Puff know people right there at Netflix. Don't think he don't. And I don't know if this guy still worked for them, but he was part of the Flavor Unit, Shakim. He was part of the Flavor Unit. He was good friends. He was cool with Puff and them. Flavor Unit and them, Queen Latifah and them, they was cool with Puff. If Puff would have sent the cease and desist over there and they could do it and he had the power and they wasn't right, they would have been done it. You see it's still rolling, right? It's still going on, right? He ain't got that power no more. You understand? Now, could he sue them because they use his likeness or use them and stuff like that? I don't know. I'm not that versed in they using him. You understand? If they can steal your whole damn idea, your whole damn ideal, why can't they steal your whole damn intellectual property?
Gene went on to speak about what he described as Diddy's long-standing fixation on Tupac. According to him, it wasn't a passing issue, but something that influenced Diddy's thinking and decision-making for years. Gene claims this mindset shaped how Diddy moved behind the scenes, affected his professional choices, and played a role in how he navigated personal relationships, becoming a defining factor in how he operated for a long time.
I did see the interview that 50 did with Sherry. And he was talking about he didn't release the video about Puff having a kid by Kim Porter's friend, Sarah Chapman. Now, we all know that she used to date Tupac. You understand? So either he got her because he wanted some remnants of Tupac. We don't know. But it seemed like every dude that he had some kind of disdain, dislike, or that he idolized in a sense, he wanted their girl. Or he wanted to be a part of their girl. I don't know why. Yo, bro, this dude was, I don't know if he was in love or in hate for Tupac. He wanted to be an actor. He auditioned for Juice. But Pac beat him out for that Bishop thing. You understand what I'm saying? He wanted to be a part of that. Just go, and not so many years ago, when Puff started getting into that drugs and started using drug stuff, he started revamping some of Tupac's speeches. And if you think I'm lying, go look at the Grammy speech he did. Go look at a couple of speeches he did. It was the same exact words Tupac had said. That he was going to start this whole revolutionary of our people. That's Tupac. Black Lives Matter, the Black Liberation Movement, that was Pac. The Black Liberation Movement. Black Lives Matter? Come on, bro. This dude, everybody know that he had some kind of, I don't want to say disdain taste, but he had some kind of, I don't, jealousy of Tupac, bro.
Notable gaps in the documentary, especially when it came to Kim Porter. As Diddy's longtime partner and the mother of his children, her role in his life was significant, yet her story received only brief attention. Kim passed away unexpectedly in 2018 at the age of 47, with pneumonia listed as the official cause. Still, her sudden death has continued to raise public questions. Given her close connection to Diddy over many years, some viewers felt her limited presence left the documentary feeling incomplete.
Do you think that Diddy killed Kim Porter?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because of all the videotapes, because of the book, because of all the people she gave copies of her book to, or at least chapters, because of everything that she had on him, because of the tape that she used to blackmail him into a relationship and into a raise of him being sodomized by Andre Harrell. And I am not saying that allegedly, because I heard her and Kim Muir talking about it in the booth of the bathroom.
Kim Porter had a front row seat to Diddy's world, from his personal relationships to private business decisions rarely seen by the public. Yet the documentary barely acknowledged her presence. According to multiple accounts, her story may have been intentionally avoided because it was considered too sensitive or controversial. Gene Deal, who says he knew Kim personally and looked out for her on several occasions, believes she was aware of far more than people realize. In his view, leaving her perspective out removed a critical layer of context.
It's alleged that she did have a book and that her book was about to come out. And she was talking about all the perils, everything that she went through in the music business and with Diddy. All the men that they slept with together, because there were men that they slept with together. There were swinging times that they slept with together. I don't know, man. How do you put your girl through some shit like that? Or how you look at your girl and knowing that she's in another dude? What kind of demonic mind you have to be that far gone where that shit don't bother you? And got rid of them. They swimming with the fishes.
Wow, man. So she was about to expose all that in her book, them sleeping with men together.
She was going to expose everything. I heard it was tell all.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Just curious, right? Did you know that Diddy and Kim had that type of relationship back then in real time?
Yeah. Yep. Because I know somebody personally that lives in Atlanta that was swinging with them. And I would never mention his name because he's a good brother. And he knows my family down there, you know. He knows my family down there. And I would never, put his name out there like that. He's been in the music business. He done put a lot of groups, A-listed groups out there. Especially
Despite her importance, Kim's role in the documentary was reduced to a few photos and brief mentions before moving on. That silence stood out. Mark Curry has since spoken publicly about unsettling incidents involving Kim and Diddy. alleging that Diddy monitored her private conversations and reacted angrily when he heard things he didn't approve of. Mark recalled an incident where Diddy became enraged after learning about a phone call Kim had with producer Shakir Stewart and later confronted him publicly. According to Mark, moments like these reflected a controlling dynamic that the documentary never fully explored.
Was the other day they just did a whole thing with the girl that he was dating was the one that was putting the wiretaps and all of that out. It was a clear case. She came, hey, I was the one who was doing the wiretaping and all of this, right? The tapping. So I knew about this before she came out and said that she was the one that was doing it. I was sitting there like, damn, he know everything she doing. He know her conversations. I'm sitting there like when I'm sitting there right there next to him, when I'm hearing them saying, this is what Shakir Stewart was saying to Kim Porter on the phone that made him mad. That made him so mad at Shakir Stewart when he went to L.A. Reid party, hit him with the chair. You don't think if he hit a man with a chair for dating this girl, they gonna have a fight at home too. You know what I mean? That's why, they say he busts her nose up on the boat. And have you ever been to Sandro Pay's here? Brother play a mandolay. Remember that was in his song? I need a good woman next to me. So then it happened in what was it, Sandro Pay? Like that island. And then he bust her nose. They tried to make it seem like she slipped and fell. She slipped and fell and broke her nose. Nah, the truth was she slipped and fell and landed on his fist. Yeah, but that's what happens when you put your hands on females. I don't really have much respect for a man who's physically abusive towards women, man. I kind of think they be kind of suspect. I'd be like, man, girls fight.
Some believe this omission fits into a broader pattern, especially when examining how the documentary handled Diddy's infamous parties. For years, these events were rumored to involve powerful figures from various industries. Yet the film offers almost no detail, no major names, no clear connections. For many viewers, that absence felt suspicious, particularly given how openly those associations were discussed in the past,
his celebrity
and how
friends
silent
that
many of those figures are today.
Those allegations and were like, "This is false," and they were saying, "Yeah, should they speak up now?"
It's getting a little too late for those who are complicit. Stevie J should be charged. Mary J. Blige should also be charged. Jennifer Lopez should definitely be charged. Jay-Z should be charged. Khaled should be charged. Rick Ross should be charged. Usher should be charged and tried with him. Or for Justin Bieber alone.
Jaguar Wright has also weighed in, arguing that the focus on the music industry misses the deeper origins of Diddy's behavior. She believes the real story begins in his childhood home. According to her, Diddy grew up in an unstable environment where unfamiliar people frequently came and went while his mother was focused on her own life. Jaguar suggests that growing up in such conditions can profoundly shape a child's mindset, leaving psychological impressions that last well into adulthood.
God knows what he saw and what happened to him in his own mama house. All of those strangers, them up involved, looking around, seeing what was going on. And let's just be clear, it sounds like her house was a house of, professional freak-offs. So who knows what he saw or what could have happened to him while she was busy entertaining people and pouring and getting tips, as she would say, for her after-hour life.
Oh yeah. He was. I'm gonna say he was surprised to hear that.
School bus driver. No, was he surprised or was he like, "Zip it, you talking too much"? Because that's what it looked like to me. It looked like you talking a little bit too much. They don't need to know about that. While she was sitting up there, because I was a bus driver and I was this, and I worked at the after hours. And I would pour them drinks.
Jaguar further pointed out that Diddy has openly expressed pride upon learning that his father lived a risky, street-centered lifestyle. She believes that reaction is revealing. In her view, embracing that image rather than questioning it shows how deeply those early influences shaped his values, identity, and worldview, offering insight into how his past continues to echo through his actions.
Sean's own words, and in Diddy's own words, he had said he had a sigh of relief learning that he was the son of a hustler or a gangster. Like he wanted that status. He wanted to say that he was like a sigh of relief is a wild thing to say, that your daddy was a gangster or a hustler. That's what you heard that he was.
Well, I mean, like Tim said, they had a bunch of blaxploitation movies being played around the house all the time. They grew up with the Mac playing. They grew up with Superfly playing. Like, I mean, if that's what you got going on, you got two women in the house and there's no men around, and these are what the little boys are watching. You got basketball players coming over late at night. You got hustlers coming over, PIMPs coming over, women who look like they were modeling for Jet Magazine coming over. Like, it sounds like the nature of the environment is what shaped their perception of what cool was. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure for him it was, oh man, that's who my dad was. So I'm sure for him, it made him feel good because all of that stuff that he was watching, he really came from that. But that was really his legacy. And yeah, I'm sure for him it felt good to know that his dad was this big hustler who turned out to be a snitch, who got his brains removed from his head.
She connects that mindset to how hip-hop culture later glorified similar figures, noting that many rap personas were inspired by movie characters representing power, fear, and dominance. Jaguar argues that Diddy didn't just admire that image, he personally identified with it because it mirrored the environment he grew up in. According to her, this connection went beyond branding and deeply shaped how he saw himself. She also described Diddy's relationship with his mother as unusual, suggesting there may be deeper, unresolved dynamics behind it.
Or the situation where they say he was trying to shape Misa into his mother. Can you see that? Like,
yeah, with the blonde hair and yeah, and all of that. I mean, somebody
really
asked a question: what kind of man puts his hands on his mother? The same kind of man that parties with his mom, the same kind of man who kisses his mom in the mouth, the same kind of man who seems to have accurate knowledge that his elderly mother can put both of her hands, her palms, on the floor and while she's standing up, bent over.
Oh damn, I ain't seen that one. Oh.
You never seen the Instagram video where he was talking about how his mom is still young and spry and how she still liked the party and how they was getting a IV drip?
Oh. Damn.
And she was kissing him in the mouth on the video when he was like, yeah, my mom can bend over and touch the floor with her palms.
No.
It's a very, very, very
Jaguar believes the cycle continues when examining Diddy's relationship with his own children. She describes the situation as deeply concerning, claiming that multiple people have alleged the children were exposed to environments they should never have been in. In her view, the most troubling aspect isn't only the claims themselves, but the silence surrounding them, raising difficult questions about accountability, responsibility, and why so many adults who allegedly knew chose not to.
I mean, he seems to be having, and again, I know the freak offs, that his son is there. Like, it seems like he likes to get down with his kids.
Yeah. But that wasn't all. Just to hear Little Rod say, like, the boys were around. Roger Bonds talked about the children as well. What kind of parenting relationship is that? But then again, that goes back to the conversation of Lori Harvey, Steve Harvey's daughter. It was all known that she was spotted in them streets with Justin, and then she was spotted in them streets with Diddy, and they all tried to sit there and pretend like that wasn't what it was. Like, I don't know if anybody has not noticed, but ever since Diddy got pinched, they've all been trying to pretend like all of the stuff that we seen that happened, that they was all involved in, didn't happen. If Lori Harvey was hanging out, which, and it's kind of weird, like the whole relationship with Justin looks weird. He looks like Mini-Me with Dr. Evil. It's weird. Like, why are there people? Why is there sexual behavior going on? And why are people naked in front of their kids, G? Doing all kinds of stuff. And meanwhile, Misa's running around making comments about how she don't like the way that Eric Sermon was depicting her in the documentary. You don't like the way you're being talked about in the documentary. You don't like the fact that, because see, it wasn't Gene Deal, because Gene Deal said he wasn't there, and thank God that he was able to admit that. Kirk Burrows did say that he was there and present when Diddy was beating the brakes off of Misa and putting the feet to her